Hey, today like to talk a little bit about trauma. What is trauma? And where does trauma come from? Trauma, simple definition, is anything that overwhelms our nervous system and overwhelms our ability to cope. We all have things that overwhelms our nervous system. Going to have to meet with the boss, your arm gets sweaty, your heart rate goes up. My nervous system is overwhelmed. As we become adults, we have the skills to cope with that. We can calm ourselves down. We can put ourselves in a good place where we can start to have a healthy discussion, ability to cope. But trauma is not being able to do either one. My nervous system is overwhelmed, and I do not have the availability or the skills to be able to cope with what's going on. Trauma makes us feel unsafe, makes us feel like we're in a constant state of danger. Uh, when our armpit gets sweaty, our heart rate goes up. We feel like there's danger around. We start being hyper vigilant, looking around. Where's the unsafe thing? What's going on inside of ourselves? Our mind starts racing. Our cerebral cortex comes over, wanting to think just in the moment, not in the long term. All those things happen when we're in danger. Fight or flight, freeze, fawn. Only got four responses. Which one am I going to do? Um, we're in a state of trauma. We're in trauma. Our nervous system is overwhelmed. Do I have the skill level to cope with that? When we don't, we are unsafe. And I believe that a lot of times that trauma comes from not having basic needs met in our life. And we have basic needs as humans, we all do. I think they're built into us by God. And I think in the Bible talks about the unto others. Do to one another's, and those things are what we're supposed to be doing to care for each other, to help take care of each other's basic needs. So what do those basic needs look like? Let's take a little glance into them and see what they look like. So I think the first one is kind of simple: food, water, shelter. So you get people you talk to and they go, well, I've never been without that. I had a good home. I had food, water, and shelter. Therefore I didn't experience trauma, right? Well, that's the start. I think there are people that don't have those as kids. We don't have those as adults. They're in a state of trauma all the time. So, are we pay attention to that? Do we see that in the world around us? The second one, we need to experience pleasure. We need to have a place where we have feelings that are positive, feelings of happiness, playfulness. You get around and you just wrestle, you just have fun, It's okay to play. Um, was it okay for you to play when you were a kid? Or was things really serious? Or children to be seen and not heard? Um, Playfulness. We need a place where we can find contentment. Contentment in the situations we're in, contentment in us, contentment in the people that are caring for us. We need to be able to experience contentment in life. The next one I think we need is physical affection. Um, they've had studies done where kids were put in nurseries in taking care of kids that were orphans, and they weren't touched, and soon they just shriveled up and turned into nothing. They found that they needed people to go in and touch those babies, to give them the physical touch. We are designed, we need that physical touch. But we need that physical touch, we need to experience in timely, age appropriate, and healthy ways. Not just any physical touch will do. Ways where we have boundaries that keep us safe and healthy. For me, that one wasn't done. As a child, I was sexually abused by a high school boy at age 6. Um, that interference into that messed with me till I was at the age of 50 when I finally started working through it. We need physical touch, but it needs to be appropriate, and it needs to be timely, and it needs to be in a healthy environment. The next one, number 4, I think we have the need to be accepted, to need to be respected, to need to be valued, right? There's a singer many years ago, RESPECT, right? We all know we need to be respected. We all feel the need to be valued. We all feel that's so deep down inside of us. But it's not a thing of valued for what we do. It's valued for who we are. That is the thing, right? I mean, so many times in life, we get good grades or we perform well on the sports field or whatever it is. We are valued for what we do. But how many times in life are you valued for who you are? How many times in life do we value others for who they are, not just for what they do? Wow, that's a big one. That's huge in our lives, but that's what we need. Number 5, we need connected relationships. Relationships that create belonging. We're part of this. We're part of this group. I've come to realize in my home, my family of origin, there were 7 of us kids, and we were all islands. We weren't really connected to each other deeply, emotionally, physically, spiritually. We all had the same biological parents. We all grew up in the same household until the time we were old enough that we moved out and we got married. Well, we weren't connected. We didn't really know each other. We didn't really meet each other's basic needs. There was no belonging that went on there. If that belonging causes us to be able to be our authentic selves, to be who we really are, there's no fear in that. We don't have to try to pretend we're somebody else. That's been a mess in my life. My wife has been married to 10 men named Larry Van Loo because I wore that many masks to be accepted. Not for who I was, but for what I wanted people to see, because I thought that's the person they would like. I've always had the need to be accepted. Connected relationships. Number 6, we need to be encouraged to explore our purpose and our greater significance in life. Is there a greater significance? Is there a greater purpose than just living and dying and taking a dirt nap, right? There's more to life than that. Yes, there is. Do we explore that significance? Do we encourage others to explore that significance? Do we learn to serve others? Do we learn to let others serve us? That first half came naturally. I was taught to serve other people. My grandma was one of the greatest servants I've ever met in my life. She served people so unconditionally, no matter who they were, no matter what they acted like. But I don't know that I ever saw people serve my grandma. And I grew up and I didn't know how to let people serve me. I kept people at a distance. Serving me felt unsafe, actually. It felt like there was danger. I don't know what that was all about. I haven't worked through all that yet. But we need to be able to learn to serve other people and to let other people serve us. Number 7, we need safe places. Places where we can be safe physically, emotionally, relationally, and spiritually. We need communities where that all happens. A place without harsh judgmentalism. That critical eye that's always looking at you. You're never good enough. You'll never measure up. If you'd have only done this, if you'd only be like your sister, if you'd only be like your brother, if you'd only be like Johnny across the street, always someone better, right? That critical, harsh judgmentalism where we feel like we never measure up. There's no affirmation in life. We need a place where that is not the norm. We need a place where the norm is fairness and justice. That's what we need. Number 8, we need to be able to discover new and wonderful things. We need to be engage with the beauty around us. In this modern world in big cities, we don't lay outside and stare up at the stars because all we see is streetlights. But we need to be able to do that. We need to be able to look into creation and see the grandeur. Sedona is not far from my house, and I like to drive up to Sedona and see those crazy red rocks. The grandeur of that and how that's been cut into the world the way it has been. The Grand Canyon is in my state. The grandeur of the Grand Canyon. The grandeur of the night sky. We need to be able to experience that. In that place, it expands our minds and it refreshes our souls. We need to find rest. Rest where we can recharge, reflect, rejuvenate. Not only our bodies, but our minds and our souls. Do we have places where we do that? Do we do that with our bodies, go to sleep at night? Do we do that with our minds? Do we do that with our souls? Another one that was difficult for me. Growing up, you always had to work before you could play. When your chores are done, when your work is done, then you can play. I watched my dad work until at 9 o'clock at night when he was too tired to play or enjoy, or his rest was just, he just fell asleep on the couch. But we need a place where we can rest. It's so important for us. We need to be able to have what the Bible calls Sabbath. Rest, a day of rest, a time of rest for our minds, our bodies, and our souls. Number 10, we need to experience grandeur. We need to be able to do that so we can have wonder, worship. Thanksgiving is part of our lives. Looking at the night sky, I had a grandson that was just born, and as I looked at that baby that's not even a day old, I have as I look at that being that's created in the image of God, that was so fine knit in his mother's womb by his God. And I am in awe of our Creator God that made us all. We take time to have awe, to have that overwhelm our senses and just go, man, that's crazy. We need those times. We need to be able to worship. We need to be able to be thankful, to have gratitude. Positive things in our life. Number 11, I need to acknowledge my spiritual side. We all have one. Some people ignore it. Some people acknowledge it. Some people say you live, you die, you take a dirt nap. That's all there is. No, it's not all there is. We are made eternal beings, and we all know that down inside someplace. Some of us like to repress that because we don't want to deal with eternity, but it's coming. we all get there someday, right? I mean, none of us, it's coming. But we need to acknowledge that spiritual side. We need to have a relationship with a Creator God. I believe only in that relationship do we truly find healing from the trauma we've experienced in life. That's the only place. We can get help. We can go, there's all kinds of good stuff out there where we can get help. But I believe healing only comes through a relationship with the God who is. Number 12, we need healthy communities. Healthy communities. A community where I can become whole, right? A community where we seek to meet each other's needs in a healthy, honorable way. A community where we experience serenity, where we experience satisfaction, where we experience peace, where we experience joy. Wow. Those communities are hard to find. Some of us growing up in communities that were nothing like that. Got that iron fist always hanging over you with a list of do's and don'ts and things you must do to live up to our standard, and you don't feel you're ever good enough. That's not a healthy community, and we need to find a different one. There are healthy communities. I'm engaged with a number of ones. I'm engaged that nothing is wasted. I'm engaged in a really good church. Desert Breeze. I'm engaged with a ministry called Mending the Soul. Healthy communities where I can be my authentic self. And I find serenity, satisfaction, peace, joy. So as we talk, which one of those needs stood out to you? Positive or negative? Or do you think, these guys way off base? Let me know. I'll talk with you. Which one stands out? Where do you need to start? For me, rest has been the thing. It really been working in my soul for the past year, a couple years maybe. How do I rest? I didn't grow up learning how to rest. I felt guilty if I took a nap. Work was never done. I mean, there's always work, right? The work is never finished. I never finish my work. So how can you go play? I've learned to play. I have things I enjoy. I love to ride a bike. I love to walk. I love to listen to some good music. Do I take time to do that? Do I let time to that to replenish my mind, my body, my soul? Do I take time to engage with people that help me to do that? Do I take time to engage with God to do that? I have learned, and I am learning, to Sabbath better. It is a need of my soul. Well, love to hear from you. Let me know what you think. Love you.